Soul School here. You know, today we're going to talk about the traps that this system has for you. And we're here in the city of Detroit, and it's around election time. You know, election to me is a joke. And you people who are always talking about, well, people gave our ancestors sacrificed their lives for you to vote. Well, it's a shame that they did that because uh, voting can be manipulated. You've seen it with Bush throughout the years. It can be manipulated. But why would you vote for a system that around 1913 on a remote place called Jekyll's Island, those that are now called the Illuminati made a deal with those that were politicians, congressmen, and senators to get an illegal banking system called the Federal Reserve. And then uh, a few years later, around 1933, they set up a legal way to confiscate all the gold. I think that was in 1933. It could have been, my dates may be off. And that passed, that law passed, where they could confiscate your gold and start issuing you Federal Reserve notes for money, you know. And they sat on the gold, manipulating the gold prices as we speak. Congress passed, allowed that to happen. And why would you vote for a system that when they do elect a president that tries to do the right thing, they assassinate him? Like President Kennedy and Lincoln. I wouldn't say Lincoln tried to do the right thing, but he was in favor of giving the black man slave 40 acres and a mule and his own separate state. And all this was allowed. And by the way, emancipation don't mean freedom. Don't mean free. You look it up in a dictionary, it means to exchange hands. So you go out on one condition of one slave master to another slave master. The slave master is just a little more slicker. You don't have to wear chains and get killed no more. Uh, when you go off the plantation, you're allowed to stray off the plantation. Just another system of slavery, a little bit more sophisticated. So why would you allow this to happen? Through voting. Every time you cast a vote, you're continuing the system, this corrupt system. You got to think of the United States as a mega plantation that extends all over the world, and the citizens are subjugated to the conditions of this slave system. But you have an alternative. You can have an alternative, but you don't choose an alternative because it takes effort. So you go along with this corrupt system because you're scared and you lost your identity of who you are. If you're a child of God, that means you got the quality to create a system of your own, an alternative system. So you get mad when Master Farad Muhammad comes and teaches you the knowledge of self, saying you're original black man and woman of the planet Earth. Go through the science of how we, the fathers and mothers of the all other people on the planet, the yellow man, the red man, the brown man, we the fathers and mothers. They came through us, through the black woman and the black man. We are direct descendants of the Most High. So we're going to continue this conversation in the next video, letting you know that about the traps that they have waiting for you, and how to avoid being trapped. I'm going to name a few if we got a little time left. I'm going to name a few traps. Speed limits. Speed limits. They make a car to travel at 150, 180 miles an hour, 100, 200 miles an hour, and give a speed limit of 70 miles an hour or 55 miles an hour. Now, if you want somebody to go 70 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, don't have the car, put a governor on the car and make it run 70 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour, because you got to have a little passing speed on there. So make a car that runs 50 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour. You'll never get a ticket because the car can't go no faster. And then they tell you don't drink and drive. There's more drunk drivers kill people every day than that they really report. More drunk driving accidents and impaired accidents that you don't even know about how many it is, but it's a lot. And that used to be their number one commercial, don't drink and drive. And I remember when they was fighting against, in Prohibition days, they were fighting against alcohol, drinking, and especially drinking and driving. But the gangsters corrupted the politicians, and they, made it legal for you to get drunk. These are traps. So we're going to continue this a little later. And I'm going to name all the traps that you fall for. And so until next video, Souls to Soul, Professor Soulskool here. Peace.